Hey, this is Positive Energy with another review of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is the reunion part 2. Now, I didn't do a reunion or get into the part 1 reunion because I just didn't think it was that interesting. But part 2 is a continuation, and really what we're discussing at this point is Nene's interaction with the other ladies, or lack thereof. Nene consistently letting the ladies know that she isn't their friend, so they are just co-workers. And we get all the ladies reacting to how Nene is being extremely passive aggressive. Now, I did watch an interview with Nene, and she said that in particular with Cynthia, that her issue with Cynthia isn't Kenya. Her issue with Cynthia goes beyond that, and there's a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't get a chance to see or get a chance to get privy to, and therefore Cynthia gets a really nice edit and we don't see the negative side of her. This is according to Nene. So that's why she has really, come to the conclusion of she just really can't deal with Cynthia anymore. And my problem is this. Well, if you have an issue with Cynthia, which you clearly do, explain what that issue is. Because what we're seeing is that, it seems as though Cynthia is happy. She's in a great space. She has a new man in her life. She's continuously working on other projects, and she's not running behind you. So therefore, that seems like that's your issue. But if that isn't the issue, and it seems like there's more to it that the public isn't aware of, then let's find out what is that. All of these things going on behind the scenes isn't really good for the show, because you're left confused and you don't really know what's going on. So that's just something from that, I heard Nene made mention to. We also had Nene versus, I won't say versus, the Nene and Greg situation. And here's what I think about that. Nene is very unhappy in their marriage right now. And I don't think Greg is actually feeling it's all that great either, but Greg is at least trying to make an effort to repair the damage that has been done. It has been mentioned more than once on the show that, Nene, saying that they were having problems before the cancer diagnosis. So once that happened, then it just made things even worse. Nene has said in the past that Greg is a difficult person, and said that he's not all that what he seems when the cameras are rolling. I can believe it. I think that Greg at one point was probably something else. I think he was a ladies' man. I think he was dipping and doing it, as Wendy Williams would say, back in the day. And, as he's gotten older, he's slowed down. I'm not talking about dealing with the cancer, but just, he has not been the easiest person to get along with. And I definitely can believe that. I think that Nene, when she met Greg, it was at a point in her life when she had been in an abusive relationship, and she's working at a strip club, and she meets this man, and he is like her prince in shining armor. He takes her from the pole, and he decides to marry her and give her a better life. Her and her son at the time give them a better life. And I don't believe that Nene give herself time to really, I don't know how long they dated, so maybe I shouldn't say that. I was getting ready to say, I think that Nene didn't give her a chance, time to get to know Greg, but, I don't know how long they dated before they got married, so I guess that's neither here or there. But at that time, Nene was at a different stage in her life, and now she's more successful because of this show. She's a lot more successful, and she's ready to move forward with other projects and doing well for herself, and, ready to dip it and do it. And Greg, isn't there in that same space. He's ready to slow down. He, has been there, done that. That's one of the issues of marrying someone who's a lot older than you. You get to a point where, okay, back then he was right there with you, dipping in and doing it, and then now he's not there anymore. He's gotten a lot older, and he's ready to slow it down, and she's not ready for that. So I think that what we're going to see is this will be a building block for them to have a storyline next season. It's going to be about Greg and Nene wondering if they can get back together. I think that's what their storyline is going to be next season. So then you got Tanya and Marlo come out, and, Marlo is being very supportive of Nene, extremely supportive. She goes in on Shamari, but that didn't really work very well because she's always talking about Shamari's an alcoholic. Shamari has a drinking problem. Here comes Portia with her little funny thing. No. She doesn't have a drinking problem. She just has a problem with drinking, and we see the montages of Shamari, various events, having the one too manys. And I think Shamari's issue is probably because she doesn't get a chance to go out as much. She's a new mom. She has a set of twins. When she does go out, she doesn't monitor how much she's drinking. And I don't think it takes long for her to, get to that point where it's a little too much. If she's out with her girls or out on her own. If she's out with her husband, I think he's able to monitor, and he's able to make sure that, one or two drinks is probably all that you need to have, and that's it. But when she's by herself, she just let it go. And I think that's really what it is. But, Marlo wants to be, bring up some very negative things as if Shamari drinks all day, every day. And that is not the case. Shamari even said she doesn't even drink in the house. So, and her opportunities to come out are not as frequent, as it seems to be when they're taping this show. She's not getting that opportunity to go out 3 or 4 times a week. That doesn't happen. She is a housewife. So, but now she's going to do this tour with Candy. So, the Sex Dungeon tour. So I'm curious to see how that's going to go. From the looks of it, it's going to be pretty hot. So good luck with that. We, also got Tanya, and Tanya was just talking about how, her and Nene, started out as being really cool, when she used to go visit Nene's store. And then now it just, in Tokyo, it really flipped around a lot in Tokyo when Nene made a very sideways comment regarding Tanya and her relationship, saying that, well, I think Tanya got a fortune cookie about getting married or something. And, Nene was like, oh, well, if you don't marry the guy that you're with right now, it's okay. You'll probably marry somebody else. As if Tanya's current relationship is problematic because they've been engaged for a while and they haven't set a date to get married because they might not want to get married. So she put that out there, and when Tanya brought it to Nene's attention that was a problem and she was hurt by it, Nene was like, for what? I didn't really mean anything by it. And I don't know that Nene really did mean to come at her negatively, but because Nene is in such a negative space, she probably doesn't even realize half the time when she's being passive aggressive and being nice, nasty to people, because internally she's battling marital problems. She's upset, she's angry about and scared of dealing with this whole thing with cancer. It's a lot going on. So when you are miserable, it's hard to be happy for others. And this is what we're seeing with Miss Nene. So she said some nasty things about Nene, and she was saying, look at those girls on the couch over there. They're trying to clamor to get a peach. I don't get that impression. I think they're just letting her know that they are tired of her mess, and they weren't going to let her just walk all over them. That's really what that was all about. This wasn't about clamoring for a peach. If Tanya does get a peach, good for her. If she continues to be a friend to the show, okay, it is what it is. I mean, look at Marlo all these years, and what did Shamari say? Marlo has been on this show, 6-7 years, and we still don't know who you are. We don't. And I honestly think that Marlo doesn't want a peach. I think people, keep bringing it up. Marlo wants a peach. Marlo needs a peach. I don't think she wants a peach because I don't think she really wants to go into what she does in her personal life. I think that as long as she's a friend to the show, she doesn't have to do that. And she can always meddle in everybody else's business and give her opinion, even if it's unsolicited, about what everybody else is doing. What else we got going on? Finally, Portia let Nene know that all of this negative energy and her aloofness and not wanting to be bothered with people and reiterating how much they are not friends, she thinks it's really ridiculous, it's trite, and it makes her wonder, was their friendship ever genuine? Because now she's rethinking it like, well, I guess we were not really friends in the first place. And Nene's sitting there like, okay, whatever. I mean, Miss Portia got Nene all the way together. And when Andy asked Nene to comment, and here go Nene, oh, no comment. There really wasn't a comeback for that because everything Portia said was true. She couldn't come back on that. There was no comeback. There was like, what could you say? So she, tried to act like she really didn't care, but she cared. She was definitely up there hurt, and she cared. She cared a lot. What else? And then, we did talk about Portia and Candy and this whole thing with Candy inviting Jamie, who's someone who works with Candy or has worked with Candy, I think with marketing. But this girl also used to work with Portia, and they ended up getting into a fight last year. And I don't even know what the reason for that was. So Jamie, Candy invites Jamie to film, and really for the sole purpose of telling her about Dennis and who Dennis is dating and what Dennis typically does with the ladies that he dates in terms of getting tattoos and buying them Rolexes and all this type of stuff. And, Jamie was at this birthday party. Candy threw Todd a birthday party, and she was there, whatever. And I guess the other lady that, I don't know if she knew that she was no longer dating Dennis. I'm not sure what that situation was, but it was from what I hear, it might have been a very tense and hostile situation, or could have been a hostile situation. And supposedly, now Candy didn't see it, but she was saying other people, saw that Portia was going behind this other person and asking her what's up, because I think the other person had went up to Dennis and had kissed Dennis and was acting, overly flirtatious with him. I think the lady was his ex. So, and Portia was like, nothing got out of hand. I didn't do the things that was been reported to you. And all the people that were saying that I did those things are people that are all in your corner. They're like your team. Of course they're going to say something negative about me. And then she was complaining about Todd, saying that she was drunk. She said, I was pregnant then, so I wasn't drunk, but they didn't know it. So I don't know. I think that if you didn't see the situation, it's a little hard to say exactly what's what. And I think it would have been a better idea if Candy would have at least called Portia to find out her perspective and what her side of the story was. But she didn't do that. So that's why Portia was upset. What else do we have here? The first reunion, they did talk about Eva and her fashions. Well, what was it? Eva and the fashions, Eva and the finances. And what else we got going on here? I think that's it that I can remember, or at least that was important. As far as part 2 is concerned, we have one more part 3, and this is where we're going to get into the whole closet situation at the buy wig party. So we're going to talk about the closet and get more information about that. And then we're going to talk about the last event, which was Cynthia's party she did to launch her new wine. So like I said, this has been an uneventful season. I think they desperately need to recast. A lot of people need to go and new people need to come in. Now, from what I hear, Nene's already signed on for the next season. And I think Candy's already signed on for the next season. And I'm not sure about Portia. I don't know about Portia yet. I'm not sure about Portia. I haven't heard anything about Shamari. I haven't heard anything about Eva just yet. I haven't heard anything about Cynthia. Marlo, from my understanding, is still going to be a friend to the show. And I haven't heard a word about Tanya as of yet. I think they're looking at her, holding a peach. But the word on the street is they want Tamar on the show. So we're going to see if that's going to happen. If Tamar comes, someone's going to go. And I think it's going to be Cynthia, to be honest. I think. But we're going to see. Talk to you guys later.